We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to the next episode of Lore Hunter, the show where I hunt for the answers to your questions about the lore of Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k. And I've been having a lot of fun doing this, by the way, so thank you for all of your questions and comments. If you have more questions, leave them in the comment section below, and make sure you thumb up the questions that you'd like to see answered. You can thumb up your own too if you like. And I'll try to pick from the ones that are the most popular, and also the ones I just want to answer. Today's is going to be a difficult one, because we don't have a lot of information on it yet. It comes from Sean Sanders. In Age of Sigmar, how were the Realmgates created? Can new ones be built? Short answer to your question, Sean, is we don't know exactly how the Realmgates were created, but we'll talk about that in a second. And the second answer, yes, new ones can be built. Thank you for coming to this episode of Lore Hunters. See you in the next episode. Just kidding. It's Lore Hunter, actually. And let's talk more about it. So, the interesting thing about this is I just recently finished reading Soul Wars, which is a book by Josh Reynolds in the Age of Sigmar series. And he talks about one of the realm gates in Glimsforge, actually, which is a city of order in the realm of Shaiish, the realm of death, that's currently held by the Anvils of Heldenhammer, the Stormcast Eternal Storm host. And they're looking at the Shimmergate, I believe it's called, which is the main portal between Glimsforge and the realm of heaven. And they're talking about the workmanship of this realm gate. And in it, when the Lord Arcanum, I believe it is, that's looking at it, it just reflects on the workmanship and that the theories, the legend that there was a Duradin, an ancient Duradin smith that created the realm gate. So that's interesting. That's the first time I've ever read somewhere specifically about a non-god creating a realm gate, although he may have had help as well. So what we learned from the core rule book of Age of Sigmar, if you actually go to the section on mortal realms, and it starts talking about the realm gates at one point, it says that when Sigmar arrived, a lot of the realm gates already existed. So what is a realm gate? Well, the realm gate is a connection between 2 points in the same mortal realm or between 2 different mortal realms. They can also be corrupted, in which case they can either connect to the realm of chaos, or they can go out to nowhere, or they can just make it take longer to get from one point to another, or they can be infested with demons, all these different things. They can also be shut down, as we see Sigmar shutting down all the gates to the realm of Azir during the Age of Chaos as he retreats back to his realm to reinforce and build the Stormcast Eternals. So we know they can be turned on and off with sufficient magical power. So Sigmar shows up, and there's already a lot of realm gates there. And we'll talk about the form a realm gate takes in a moment. Obviously, we have the archway, which is the typical one, but there's a lot of other ways too. And so while he is there, he actually builds a lot of the realm gates that connect the realm of Azir to the other realms. And he builds it using the material from the old world, from Malice, that big red sphere that is the core of the old world. And because he uses his Azirian magics, and because he's using the metal from Malice, these realm gates are so pure that they are uncorruptible by chaos, which is very different than the baleful realm gates, which are actually corrupted by chaos. So there, it gives us kind of this this license to make realm gates be as corruptible or as not corruptible as we want in the lore. So he built a lot of them. It also mentions that a lot of other portals or realm gates were created using godly powers. That's all it really says in the core rule book. There might be other references in all sorts of other books. I did scour through a bunch of the other battle tomes as well, and I did find some other answers. But just looking at that, they're built by godly powers. And so no doubt we've seen other gods create their own realm gates. And with the exception probably being the chaos gods, they are more all about not creating, but corrupting. Now remember, realm gates aren't the only way to travel between realms. We've seen a few other ways. In the Spear of Shadows, we actually see the Spear of Shadows and its ability to go between realms without a realm gate. And then the Skaven want to use that to build their own teleportation device to be able to go between realms. We have Chaos, which is able to manifest if enough of their own chaos energies are present. If you do enough bloodshed in the right way, you can summon Khorne. Not through a realm gate, but just through reality. So there's a lot of ways. We know of creatures that can travel through the void, so they can travel between the realms, whether there's an actual physical distance or it's more like a magical travel, we don't know. So there's a lot to all of this. The form of a realm gate is interesting too. It doesn't just have to be an archway. We've heard of other types. For example, in the Ideneth Deepkin battle tome, we learned about the whirlways. These are whirlpools that exist underwater, if that makes sense. If you kind of picture them as looking like stargates from Stargate, but they're all water instead. And apparently the very first Aenoth Deepkin, which were created, fell into the oceans of the realm of light, the realm of Hysh. And then they discovered the whirlways, and they were able to spread out to all the other realms. So the whirlways connect ocean to ocean to ocean to ocean. And that's a whirlway. It's not an arch. It's not man-made, perhaps. There's basically going to be anywhere that there's like a coalescence of magical energy. In other words, they can be wherever the writer wants them to be. And there can be as many or as few. They can be huge, entire armies can walk through them, or they can be tiny, or only an individual can get through them at a time. In Sylvaneth, we talk about the spirit paths. Now, the spirit paths are not a realm gate, but we'll talk about that in a second. The spirit paths allow the Sylvaneth to travel. They call them the realm roots. So in the realm of life, the roots of the trees, and in fact in the other realms this works too, if there's enough Sylvaneth magic, are so diffused with the energy that a Sylvaneth can travel along them and appear somewhere else. So it's a form of intra-realm traveling. But they can't usually go that far. They can, like it talks about Tree Lord Ancients being able to go as far as they can see or smell, but there's some like really powerful Tree Lord Ancients that were able to go leagues in one bound. But it also talks about during one campaign that the orcs were there, that there was one particular area where the spirit paths had merged so much that they actually formed into a realm gate. So that is another way that a realm gate could be formed. Realm gates can take so many different forms. They can be whirlways in the water. They can be a mist in the woods as you're walking, and you're walking through this mist, and all of a sudden you're teleported to another realm. They can be archways. They can be a pool of water. In fact, a lot of the in Plague Garden, they describe a pool of water being corrupted by chaos, and it used to go to another realm. I can't remember which one, but it was corrupted, and now it goes to the realm of chaos. But it's a pool, so you actually jump into the pool, and you emerge in the rivers in the realm of chaos on the other end. So they can take any form. It's really not, if the archways, I think, are just more like the man-made ones. That's where, or Duradin-made or Elven-made, whatever you want to look at it as, where they're artificially constructed, I guess is the best way to put it. Whereas there are tons of naturally occurring ones. The most interesting being the All Points, which we don't even know, as far as I understand, how that was constructed. But it is huge realm gates that when you go through that realm gate, you go somewhere that is nowhere. It's not like some sub-realm in the etheric void. It's just literally you're walking through a realm gate, and while you're inside of that realm gate, you can go to other realm gates, but it's an entire area that you could build fortresses and have armies, and got conquered by chaos, and it was awful because it could go everywhere, which has made it a very important strategic point. All sorts of fun stuff. It actually opens up to a lot of really cool possibilities for storytelling and just for the lore to develop in different ways as time goes on as well. So that hopefully answers your question, Sean. How are the realm gates created? Lots of them are just natural. Some of them are artificial. Some of them made by gods. Some of them made by very, very powerful wizards or very powerful Duradin artificers. Some of them by Sylvaneth magic. Basically, wherever there's a lot of magic present, you could theoretically tear a hole through reality and make your own realm gate as well, which is pretty cool. And yes, you can keep making more. And yes, they're opening and closing and being corrupted and being changed all the time, which makes them a very important strategic point and a very interesting part of the story that you hear from Age of Sigmar. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Lore Hunter videos. If you want your question answered, leave it in the comments below. Make sure you thumb up the ones that you'd like to see answered, and happy wargaming.